flashbulbs. People ask what makes Knoxville so special. I mean, these drivers right now, their adrenaline rush is so high right now.
Look at the Queen down on the front stretch in her long gown trying to snap a picture of the 4 wide.
In the mud.
In the mud and high heels. That'll tell you how big this is to everybody that comes here to Knoxville in August. So, which 24 cars have made it to the starting grid? Well, here's your Mopar starting grid. Danny Lasowski's won more races and more championships here than anybody. He and Donny Schatz are on the front row. Could Craig Delansky be a sleeper? Can Mark Kinser get his 3rd national championship? Could Dale Blaney back in row 3 get another big paycheck? He claimed $50,000 already this year at Eldora. Jeff Shepard and Johnny Herrera back in row 4. Sammy Swindell still looking for his elusive 2nd Nationals crown. And Paul McMahon is going to come for a ride through the field, tagging with Steve Kinser. Can he find another one? Darren Pittman and Joey Saldana in row 7. Joey's dad won this race back in the 70s. Shawn Michael and Andy Hillenberg in row 8. Byron Reed and Kelly Kinser, the famous clan, back there in row 9. Tim Schaefer alongside of the Wild Child and Randy Hannigan. Just how well can that car hang together for 30 laps as they chase that 100 grand? Steve Evans, we're getting set.
We are indeed. My goosebumps are doubling in size. Think of it this way. There's 24 cars out there. 22 of them have engines based on the Chevrolet small block. 2 are Mopars from Daimler Chrysler, and the 2 Mopars are in the top 5 for the start. Dave Argabright?
Well, Steve, your goosebumps, everybody's goosebumps are doubling in size and quantity. The emotions here in the pits are so intense, so raw. Boy, if you could bottle this up, man, could you sell it. Brad, do you remember those days?
Oh, absolutely. It's nothing like it.
And folks, if you think that $100,000 is important, there's one other thing, the trophy. And if you think we're kidding about that, wait till you see the emotion on the drivers' faces at the end of the race. The trophy is what they want. Here we go, the start of the 40th annual Amoco Knoxville Nationals, coming your way out of turn 4, live on TNN Sports from Knoxville. We're green. Takes the lead coming off of turn number 2. Mark Kinser comes up inside of Donny Schatz to take 2nd place away. And the lead as they come off of 4.
Wow, Mark is fast off the bottom. Right around there, you heard Carl say put left-er in that car. It's more left-er weight, that's more left-er drive. And boy, is it paying off right now. Schatz battling back on the outside, as you can see from Danny's in-car.
Donny Schatz takes the lead as Steve Kinser comes charging up through the field. From deep in the field, you go on board as the King works his way up the front straightaway.
On these onboard cameras, you can see the glare in the racetrack. Those are the very slick spots, the brown, darker spots. That's where moisture is. They try to aim those rear tires into that to get a good bite. And
the King can't waste a lot of time. He's got to start passing cars. Donny Schatz has a new crew chief in Kenny Woodruff, who has won this race before, including with Dave Blaney. And boy, is Kenny Woodruff one of the best in the business when it comes to setups. He's got a good one for Schatz.
Well, he's good with setups, but he's known for being hard on his drivers, or riding his drivers, keeping them pumped up. And it's got Schatz's confidence up right now. He knows when he gets in that race car, it's probably going to be fast. And he might even in the back of his mind know if he doesn't run hard, he's going to get chewed out. But we got a nasty crash.
Big crash involving Steve Kinser. The King of the Outlaws gets into it with Jeff Shepard in turn number 1. All right, there's Kinser and Shepard.
Oh, Shepard spins.
And Dale Blaney gets into him.
Okay, there's Steve in the slick part. He turned to avoid it. And he actually gets up, bicycle, hit the wall.
And he rolls over the wildest, and he was doing what motorcycle racers call basically a safety slide, trying to get out of the way. Now you're on board with the King. Get ready, hang on.
Right there, he sees him in trouble. It's real right, the slick part of the racetrack. Oh, man.
Wow, what a ride. Steve Kinser flailing his arms. He wants to get back in. Now Shepard's getting pushed off.
And that's what Steve's pointing at. He said, hey, you pushed the 4 car off. Why not me?
And Steve's crew chief, Scott Gherkin, down there screaming at everybody he can get to, including the pace truck, trying to get some help.
Well, I'm not quite sure, Ralph, why.
But the yellow is still out. So
right.
They're still thinking about this.
Well, they pushed Shepard off, and it's not right that he went and Kinser didn't.
Right.
So they're going to have to get that straightened out. They'll probably bring, yeah, they got the black flag. They're going to bring Shepard back in. I'll bet you anything.
Yeah.
Boy, what a shame. I guess these guys, they paced, car was out. They were ready to go green before these guys were ready. And
Steve Evans?
Well, it is the Knoxville Nationals. A tremendous amount of money on the line. Tippers can flare. Sometimes you say things maybe you regret in the morning, but this is the big one, the one everybody wants to win. Remember on the start, Donny Schatz in an interview said the Goodyear tires might be slow. Well, he and Mark Kinser buried the Hoosier-clad Danny Lisowski on the start. Will it happen again?
We're green. On board with Donny Schatz, and Craig Delansky has slid up. Oh, and the yellow's back out.
now Steve can come out now. Okay, they said the reason they couldn't go out, they weren't ready when the pace car came off the track. So now what? They got the black flag.
Dave Argabright?
Well, earlier on that red route, Sammy Swindell changed 2 shocks. Karl Kinser raised the gear on the 5M, but Donny Schatz, they didn't change a thing.
All right, now the King of the Outlaws gets pushed off to the cheers of this massive crowd. Bobby?
Well, now there's renewed hope for Dale Blaney and the Amoco team here at the Amoco Knoxville Nationals, as the extra yellow flag has allowed them just enough time to try to get this car pushed up to the staging area. You can see the damage to the tail tank. The rear nerf isn't right, but that's just cosmetics right now. So Dale Blaney trying to get back into the show.
Oh, and well, green and yellow is waving here at Doug Clark's hands. So here comes Blaney.
And you wonder why the green and yellow, because the guys, they want them to kind of pick up speed and get going, not just come off of 4 and see the yellow and get out of the gas. The guy with these, especially the wings, when they can't see the flagman, the guys up front get out of the gas and they start stacking them up.
You can see the damage to the tail tank of that Amoco 93 as well.
That perseverance we talked about, you never give up. Even when they went back green, these guys, the crews can't give up. Looks like a problem with Steve Kinser's nose wing. It looks like it might have fallen down off the front post on that car.
Mark Kinser is slowing on the back straightaway. Mark Kinser is coasting down the back straightaway in the Mopar 5M.
Okay.
And he's got his hand out. Now, what is this all about? He seems to be...
Well, he seemed comfortable. He has his hand up on the cowling there, like he's just riding around there waiting to...
Is he waiting for the rest of the field? He should be all the way around in second. But Karl, his father and crew chief, looking a little uncertain of what's
Okay, that's what happened.
place.
Mark, when that green and yellow confusion, Mark got around him and was in front and didn't get out of the gas, so now he's way up front. He's waiting for the pack to come up and catch up to him.
Okay, so Mark should slide into second behind Donny Schatz. Then Craig Delansky and Danny Lisowski, Johnny Herrera in 5th, Brian Paulus, and the rest of the field. And Dale Blaney moves back into the pit area. Now remember that Steve Kinser and Jeff Shepard are not even down a lap yet. They're still on the lead lap,
Right,
so
even
they're
though
in the hunt here.
Yeah, even though the green came out and yellow came, they didn't get a lap complete. Yeah, there is a problem with Steve Kinser's nose wing. It's laying down on the hood as we see him working on Dale Blaney's car. Right there.
It is. Now what's that going to do to the handling of the car?
Well, it's not going to be very good, but at this point, he doesn't care. He's just back out there. He's got a chance, and that's the main thing. There could possibly be another red where they can work on the car, but the angle is, it doesn't look like it's better at the angle it is now than if the front's tipped up, so maybe it won't affect him too much.
If it was tipped up, they would give him more lift on that front, correct?
Yeah, if it was tipped up toward the front, the air gets under it and wants to pull the front wheels off the ground. But I was looking there, they've got the old struts, 2 struts sticking straight out the front of the car, and 2 other ones where they put the spare wing on. They just left the old struts right on there. Daniel Lisowski changed the gear on that last red too. Probably went to a lower gear to give him a better shot off the bottom, and there it seems to be working.
He gets inside of Craig Delansky as you go on board the Advanced Auto Parts camera with Lisowski working the bottom. Schatz leads. Mark Kinser runs in second. Lisowski is third. Delansky is fourth, and Johnny Herrera comes along in 5th.
Saw that inboard on Lisowski's car. Mark hit a big bump, took a big bounce, bounced up in the middle of the racetrack, up in front of Danny. Lisowski on the top.
He's won 72 races at this racetrack, 7 track championships, and 1 Amoco Knoxville Nationals. Lisowski knows this half mile.
See how fine that line is on the bottom, that brown dirt on the bottom. That's the bottom of the racetrack.
Here's the fight between Johnny Herrera and that newly painted 20, that yellow car, getting inside of Craig Delansky, a lot of people's dark horse pick in that red 7 to win this event.
That puts Herrera up to 4th. Good run for him, but Delansky comes back on the bottom.
One Thursday night, and look at Delansky taking the position away from Herrera for a few seconds as he slide jobs him in 3.
But when you slide up across that racetrack as high as this cushion is, you lose so much speed sliding up, waiting to get on that cushion. Herrera was able to get a good bite off the corner and drove back by.
And just behind those two is Sammy Swindell as you go back on board, running on the bottom of the racetrack with Lasowski trying to chase down. That's actually Herrera's on board now. Working to the high side.
Boy, again, you can see the shiny. That's the black, really slippery stuff. A driver has to really be careful. You got to backpedal or ease on the gas, do that stuff. Boy, when you get under that moisture, that heavy brown dirt, you really have to mash the throttle.
Joey Saldana on the bottom of the white 17, battling with Brian Paulus and that brightly colored number 28 out of Pennsylvania. They call it the lettuce car. It's actually painted to look like a bunch of lettuce. It even has croutons and bacon bits worked into the paint scheme as he fights with him. And that 17, they're fighting it out for 10th right now. Meanwhile, Donny Schatz, the Parker store number 15. What an amazing story. He has not had a great season by any stretch of imagination. Hasn't won a thing.
And his confidence level, you're right, is way down because of not winning a thing.
Fight for 3rd, and Herrera in the yellow 20 comes inside of Lasowski. Lasowski comes battling back. Early on in the season, Lasowski was the points leader in the Outlaws. And now he's trying to win his 2nd Amoco Knoxville Nationals. Herrera's found victory lane this year, and he's trying to get another one here.
Boy, looking at this inboard, though, Danny is really...
Big flip in turn number 1. Paul McMahon destroys the race car in turn 1. But you can see him moving, Brad. But he absolutely destroys the U2.
There's another good look at how slick and shiny that racetrack is, and that might be what happened to Paul McMahon. He got a little slick and a little bit loose, and got in the wall there and tore it up.
Paul McMahon has absolutely, he is out of the car.
Look how shaky he is, though. I'm telling you, you don't take a ride like that. I don't care who you are. We saw Steve Kinser get out a little shaky and a little wobbly, too. That's just a hard, ground-pounding hit.
What goes to start service?
With jacks in hands and tools flying, and they all line up waiting to get going, and it's a foot race to the race car to see who can get there and get working first.
Siping tires for Schatz. There's Donnie's dad standing behind him, working on the gas, putting more methanol in there. Dave?
Well, here with Donny Schatz, he's a determined guy, got that game face on. Are you concerned at all with running into that traffic?
Well, I'm not so much concerned about the traffic. You give Karl Kinser enough reds, and he's going to get his car a little better there. I guess we're really good. I'm just doing the best I can here. Hopefully it's good enough for another 16 laps, and we'll get ourselves that first win here.
Feel a little better knowing you got Kenny Woodruff right now?
Well, it gives me all the confidence in the world here. This race car is absolutely awesome. I think anybody could drive this thing, just making me look good.
Oh, he's pretty coy with that, but he's doing a great job, guys. Here with Steve Kinser. He's still pretty sore about that push-off incident, but about the race car, Steve, can they bring this thing back? How badly has it been?
No, I'm pretty sore. They pushed the 4J car off, don't push me off. And then they come in, and the guys come out and work on Sammy's car. Nobody's allowed to the cars until the pits are open. They come out to his car. He should be disqualified. Now they give him a spot back. If it had happened to any of us, we would have been to the tail. They're going to have to get their officiating straight.
How about the race car? It is bent. They're still thrashing on it.
Up, and we're just going to go out there and do what we can do. The right's right and wrong's wrong.
Well, he's pretty intense right now, but they are thrashing on this race car, guys.
Well, Brad, you've raced against Steve, and you know how intense he is, and you've also been in his situation where you think things are not going your way necessarily, and there's a lot of emotion involved in there. Now, how does he bottle all that up and focus on
one thing you don't want to do is make Steve Kinser mad. I've seen him about tear that steering wheel off. You know, he gets so mad, but he's got a wounded race car right now and a long way to go, but he's fired up right now, so you can't count him out.
Mark Kinser, the two-time champion. Karl Kinser, of course, tunes the car. Talking with Mark right now. Karl's won 13 of these championships, and You got to be happy you got your dad working on this race car right now, Mark.
Yeah, we might be able to come up with something here on this red flag area. You know, we got plenty of horsepower under the hood. Having a little trouble entering 1 right now. It's about our only dead spot on the racetrack. We're not too bad through 3 and 4, so we can pick up a little bit through 1. I think we might be able to give Schatz something, but he's setting a pretty good pace.
This race has some similarities, though, to last year. It was a lap 17 red flag, and then you guys tuned it up and were able to take advantage of Lasowski.
You know, that's correct. You know, this year it's kind of flopped around. Now Donny Schatz got Kenny Woodruff in his pit area, so maybe the old Titans will duel it out tonight.
All right, Mark Kinser ready to go.
We heard how upset Steve Kinser was about the potential work that was done on Sammy Swindell's car. Bobby Jackson, the competition director for the Pennzoil World of Outlaws, has told us that no work was done on the car. It did look like, and this is probably what Steve saw, some of Sammy's crew members were going to work on the car, and Bobby Jackson says the Outlaw officials stopped them and that no work was done on the car. Steve might not have seen that. He might just have seen the crew guys go towards the car.
Yeah, and from his angle, maybe just thought they were working on.
Here we go. Schatz, Kinser, Herrera, Lasowski, Delansky, the top 5. We go back to green with the Advanced Auto Parts onboard camera. Schatz hangs on to the lead, coming off of turn number 2. Kinser giving chase. Here comes Lasowski trying to work that bottom. Herrera slides up high to the same line as where Kinser went. Now Delansky comes along in the Caravan back, number 7, the red car. Lasowski really working that bottom groove. Here comes the Beef Packer 83 to the inside of Herrera. Slide jobs up to the top groove and rockets down the straightaway. He'll lock into 3rd for now. On board with Danny.
Where the track is different from where Danny usually runs so well on the bottom, the top is usually gone. Tonight there's a nice cushion. It looks like it's going to be there for a while. It looks pretty heavy up there. As you can see, all that brown moisture a long way from the fence.
The fight for 8th is a pretty good one. Joey Saldana, and we got Brian Paulus slowing on the back straightaway coming up in turn 2. The 28, there it is. He's got a flat left rear tire. There's a crew still trying to get Paulus's car going. Mike Trimmer from Chico on the West Coast working with this young driver from Pennsylvania. A lot of theories coming from 2 different areas of the country.
Toward the flag stand, he was wishing the checkered flag. You just have to really focus and concentrate and run nice straight lines, try to keep the tires cool and bring this thing home in one piece.
So Paulus has the left rear that he wants mounted on the car, and we should be back to green pretty soon. Bobby Gerald.
Real quick, guys, Karl Kinser, no radios here at the Knoxville Nationals or the Pennzoil World of Outlaws series. So Karl Kinser has told one of the crew guys to get down there near the track to try to tell Mark Kinser to move the wing back a little bit on the 5M. That just came down from the man.
Okay, we talked about that. It was one of our questions about moving that wing back. And as it goes back, it also stands the top up, puts more angle on it. As the air goes over and under that wing, it pushes down on the suspension of the race car and plants the rear tires and hopefully gives it more forward bite.
Tire war right now looks Goodyear, Hoosier, Goodyear in your top 4 as you're on board with Herrera. Lasowski, the one with the Hoosiers in there. Don't forget, they had a change in engine in that 83 earlier today. He might not have everything he was hoping for. The Westmar that he had before, that he was ran last night, he really wanted for tonight's Nationals.
Yeah, they had a problem with it and had to take it out, so it's not their favorite in there for right now.
We're going green. And Schatz starts to pull away. But Mark Kinser dives to the bottom, and he gets a great run through the middle of the corner. But look at Schatz coming off.
But as I said before, the guy running the top, it usually takes a lap or so to get his momentum, get clear up to speed. And he's pulling away already, and the longer they run green, he should be able to get away from Mark even further.
Well, that's it. If Mark didn't get him right away, it's going to be tougher as the race goes on and Donny starts to get that momentum. Look at Herrera coming around the outside as he battles with Delansky for 4th.
I think Craig Delansky ran in under him, and Johnny was able to fight back on the outside.
Here comes Joey Saldana, the white 17, and Sammy Swindell, and the channel lock number 1. Sammy finds a little hole and shoots through the gap.
Little hole was right, but he made it work.
Now that's why he's one of the best. Former winner of this event, and he's got Andy Hillenberg in the Luxair number 2 coming with him in the black car on the bottom of Saldana.
Yeah, when Sammy got under Saldana, it moved him up in the middle, and I think he spun the tires, and it gave Andy a chance to get a run on him, and he got by.
That's 6th, 7th, 8th, all fighting it out right there. There goes Saldana in the white 17. Laps continue to click off for Schatz, Kinser, Lasowski, and Herrera in that order.
Dean Jacobs going after Saldana. He was on the top, the other end. Now he went to the bottom.
He's got 9, looking for 8th. And Schatz in the Parker Stores 15 starts to get into lap traffic as he works on the 47 of Anderson. Coming on now is a fight for 3rd with Lasowski and Herrera. Herrera up top in the yellow, number 20. Both of these drivers having won track championships here at Knoxville. Oh, and Anderson's going to get in the way of Herrera, and he has to change lines, and away goes Lasowski.
Yep, Danny went to the top, and Herrera went to the bottom, tried to get a run, but you're right, the lap car was there, and he had to change his line.
7 to go as you go on board with Lasowski, working the bottom of the racetrack.
Boy, look at that shine. These guys, I'm telling you, they're off. It really wears the driver out physically because one little mistake in that shiny stuff, and you can spin the car out so fast.
Donny Schatz, who hasn't won a race all year, has struggled to get anything. His sister right in the middle there with the team shirt on. Could he finally get his first win of the year at the biggest sprint car race?
But look at the run Mark Kinser has on him in this within the last lap or so.
Schatz bobble coming off a 2, and Kinser takes the lead. Schatz, Karl cheers him on. Now, can Schatz get him back, Brad? What's he got to do?
Schatz's car looks like it's getting tighter and tighter. I don't know if he has a right rear tire going down, but you can see him pushing a little bit. Looks like the car is getting tight.
And going away in a hurry. It looks like it's really going away. What a break. Oh, and look at the 2 teams pitted next to each other. What a tough break for Donny Schatz. And Mark Kinser, we talked about it being calm and cool and just listening to his father, the legendary crew chief Karl, waiting, setting his car up to take advantage, and boy, it's coming right to him, Brad.
Karl Kinser's cars always get faster as the race goes on, but his tire's really low. They run a lot of low air pressure, so maybe Schatz's tire isn't going low. I thought I saw it folding under, but Mark Kinser's tire looks about the same.
We've talked so much as Haudenschild works his way up through the field. He's up to 9th in that black car on the bottom.
From all the way from the back, too.
White flag is out for Mark Kinser. We've talked about how much Karl Kinser has done to win races here, but tonight we've got to give credit to Mark Kinser, the driver of the Mopar 5M, for being so calm, cool, and collected. This veteran has just won himself his 3rd Amoco Knoxville Schatz comes home in 2nd. Danny Lasowski will be 3rd. Johnny Herrera is 4th. Craig Dolansky is 5th.
Right.
But in the future coming days, could be a different outlook.
If you look at the big picture, you're right, Ralph. But boy, right now, he's not thrilled about anything. It's just a huge disappointment.
Cindy Kinser, Mark's wife, and his son Cole awaiting the arrival of Mark Kinser, a 3-time winner of the Amoco Knoxville Nationals in Victory Lane. He's got the helmet off, getting pushed in. And he knows what winning this event is all about. And here comes the emotion. Throw the helmet out. I'm coming out. I'm a winner, Bobby Gerald.
Here is the celebration. A bottle of Coke gets sprayed on Mark Kinser. High fives from Jamie Adrian, Ray Williams. All the crew is down here. Father Karl is on the other side of the car as we try to get up here, getting tangled up in our own wires. It's a madhouse down here. Here he is, Mark Kinser. Jim Kay's giving him congratulations. A big kiss for Jimbo. Mark, is there any way at all, Mark, that you can put this into words how good it feels?
It's undescribable, baby, let me tell you. Mopar car worked awesome. Donny Schatz, young stud he is, he run me a heck of a race. Run me real hard there, about 3 laps to go. I found the middle and kind of something our mechanic was hoping for. And once again, it worked out his way. That's 14 for the boss.
Himself another great pupil. And oh, by the way, Karl Kinser, that man right there, 13 times he's given us the #1 from Victory Lane at Knoxville.
Mark Kinser, the other one.
Nationals, Mark Kinser, your winner. Schatz, Lasowski, Herrera, Craig Dolansky does a wonderful job coming home in 5th. Sammy fights his way up to 6th. Jack Haudenschild started 20th, comes home in 9th. An impressive run for the Wild Child.
Yeah, he's got to be happy with that. Just get a top 10 finish.
Randy Hannigan crashed that 1X before in the B main hot laps. He finishes 14th in the Nationals. An amazing run. Steve Kinser soldiers on to a 20th.